Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, hope you are all fine and welcome to this new lesson of our computer science for O3 levels. We are currently studying the pre-release material for May-June 2019, and in our last class, we worked out the solution for task number 2. I'm sure you have understood it well, and now we are here to work and complete the task number 3 today. Let's move direct to the details of the task number 3, assuming that we are all clear about the details of the previous two tasks. Now in the task 3 it says at the end of the auction, it means that perform some calculations which will be the summary for the end of the auction, and what it should be using the results from the task to identify the items that have reached their reserve price, mark them as sold, and calculate 10% of the final bid as the auction company fee and add this to the total fee for the sold items. So in the first step, it is asked that for the collection of all the items, whatever is the total number of items, let's say 25, it asks us to sort out those items which are sold in the auction. We separate the details of those items, and it also requires us to calculate 10% of auction fee for each of the sold item, and we also should sum up that amount and create the grand total, that what amount the auction house has earned today. Once we are done with it, it says display the total fee, okay, and then display the item number and final bid for all the items with the bids that have not reached their reserve price. In the second step, it says now from the remaining uh, number of items, sort out those items which did get some bids, but their bids were less than the reserve price, and that is why they were not offered to the buyer. Display the item number of any item that have received no bids. And in the third step, it says also calculate the details for those items which got no customer and no bid. Display the number of items sold, the number of items that did not meet the reserve price, and the number of items. It says print the three details for the three categories. The first one is the one being sold. The second category are those which got offers, but these offers were below the reserve price. And in the number three, those items which never got a bit. So let's start. We move to our pre-written coding. Here we have our Visual Basic, and starting from the first line, the initial lines relate to the task number 1 and 2. I will not go into those details again. And we start from this point where we see some new variables being declared. This is the starting point of task 3, and here we will match, as per our discussion in the last few minutes, that this variable sold items, it will contain the number of items that are sold. Less than reserved, this variable will be used to store those items which got the offers, but those offers were below the reserve price. And this third variable, no bid, will calculate those items which got not a single bid. And along these, the dim company total, this variable will sum up the 10% of each item and will give us the total earned by the auction house for that day. Now, to begin the task 1, the first thing we need to do is we create an array. I have created a demo array for you to show. Let me open this Here it is. Here you can see basically this is an array, its name is sold, and its size is 3 because we will input the number of items as 3 at the start of our coding. And when this array is made, due to the for loop that we have just now mentioned, it will store false, false, false on the first, second, and third location. And that means there is no bid, sorry, no item is declared sold. It is all false that no item is sold. I will go back and now open again. Hold on. Here we are. This is our screen. Here it is. Now, for count is equal to 1, 2 items sold is we have declared all items as false, that no one is being sold yet. Now the auction starts and we come to the next for loop. It says we have received a bid, and it says if the bid received is greater than the reserve price, then immediately change the status from this false to this true for that item. If we have got one offer that is more than the reserve price, now it is understood that this item is sold out. If someone other comes and gives a better offer, it will be given to that person. But if no one other comes, this buyer will be given this product at 5 p.m. That is why in our array we have mentioned this product as true in the status of sold. And this is a for loop, so it will continue to repeat itself for all the offers that will come one by one. And once if there is an item sold, one line will be printed, sold item 1. Suppose if that was the item number 1, final bid value will be this value that is coming from the input. And it also mentions that sold to the buyer number, and the buyer number that is uh, right now entered by the customer will also be shown. So on the screen everyone will see that item number 1 has got a buyer. Once this activity is done, what we do now, we come to another for loop which also runs for 3 times, and it says if sold count is equal to true, that if the status of a product in the sold column is changed to true, then what you should do, get the highest bid count, that is the offer that is given by the customer, and multiply that offer with 0.1. This will give you the 10% of the offer, and it will be added with the company total that is at the start 0. When the first item is sold, that 10% is summed with the 0 and it creates the company total. And once this activity happens, the sold item variable is incremented by 1. At the start, the sold items were 0. And once this activity has taken place, its count is increased. That means we have noted down that one item is sold. This for loop will continue along with this for loop during the entire period of auction. The people keep coming in and keep giving the offers, and this will repeat. And then for the another for loop, it runs for for the calculation of unsold items. How it will work, it says if there is a bid but that bid is less than the reserve price, and also check that for this item the number of bids is not equal to 0. That means there is definitely one offer, but this variable says if this offer is less than the reserve price, then what you have to do is increase less than reserve by one. That is, now we have noted that one item remains as less than reserve price offer. And also this line will print that unsold item has got a bid value that is of this amount. And this loop will also repeat whenever there is a bid less than the reserve price, and it will continue to the next line when the items with. Now the third calculation is items that receive no bid. How we will calculate it? That is very simple. We create another for loop, and over here we say check for all the items from 1 to the final number, and if some item has number of bids is equal to 0, then count in the no bid and increase it by 1. That is the item that got no bids, and we note down as +1. And this loop will check the entire array of the values, and those having number of bids 0 will be summed as no bid. So let's scroll back a little, and I repeat again, this for loop calculates the items that are sold. Here you see highest bid is greater than reserve price, then item is sold. This loop sells an item. This loop counts the sold items. This loop counts those items which got the offer, but those offers were less than the reserve price. And similarly, this loop calculates those items which never got a bid. And these three are the main parts of our task 3 code. Now, what remains to do is to print the final summaries, and here we are with them. Total fee earned, that will be printed from the company total. Total items sold, suppose 3 items are sold, that 3 will come from the sold items. Less than reserve price, that will come from this variable, and those having no bids, that will come from this variable. And final line we will add is console dot write line the auction is closed. Thank you. This is the end of this coding. Now we will move and into the result, and we will test the lines for our understanding that how it result comes with us. This is the output screen, and let's start by saying that I have 3 items to sale, and my first item is a book. I call it as book 1, and its reserve price is 5. Now I come to the second item, and I say my second item will be book 2, and its reserve price is also 5. And now I have the final book, that is book 3, and it also has a bid of reserve price of again 5. Data recording is completed successfully, and press any key to proceed. It should be better to say that press any key to start auction. And here we press the key and auction starts. On top of the screen it says item number 1 is book 1 and its number of bids are 0. Item number 2, book 2, number of bids 0. Item number 3, book 3, number of bids 0. And now the auction starts. Do you want to continue? Yes. And my buyer number is 22, and I want to buy the book 1. and I give the offer as $3. That is less than the reserve price. It says, okay, fine. Another bid, yes. My buyer number is 23 and I want to buy the product number 2 and my bid is $6. It says fine. And another bid, yes, I am buyer number 24. Sorry, yes. And I also want to buy the product number 2, which has a bid of $6. And I now give the offer of $7. And there is no one to buy the book number 3, and we close the auction now by entering N, and here is the result. In the result you see sold item number 2, final bid value 7. Here you see it also got an offer of 6 earlier, but this is sold for the bid of 7 and it is sold to buyer number 24. It is not saying that its bid value was 6 and sold to buyer number 23. That means the $6 offer from the buyer number 23 has been turned down and the highest bidder will take this article. Now coming to the other item, unsold item number 1, because bid value 3. It is unsold, it is not sold because it got a bid of 3 and we know that its reserve price was 5. Now coming down, items with no bid received. It says no bid for item number 3. This is also correct because we didn't give any offer for the book 3. This is also noted over here. And after giving this summary, it also says total fee earned by the auction house is 0.7. It is true because the auction house has sold a book for $7 and the 10% of this $7 should be 0.7. It is a correct calculation, and in the end it the above is a listed detail. If you have sold 20 items, this part of your program will show you 20 lines detailing each of the 20 items, but at the end this is the summary. It will remain in one line. It says total items sold 1, total item unsold 1, and the total item no bid 1. So if we have 30 items, 10 are sold, 10 remained low bid, 10 were never bid, then these three lines will show you total items sold 10, next line 10, and next line 10 also. And having given you this all summary, how convenient it is that at 5 p.m. this interactive screen shows you the names of all the buyers. The name means their buyer numbers, their offers, so it makes it very transparent that others who gave bids for the item number 2 will realize that yes, my bid was 6 and it is sold for 7. Everything is clearly mentioned on the screen. The people will read it, and then those who have purchased will go to some counter, pay their fee, buying amount, prove their identity, and that product will be given handed over to them with some sort of receipt. And in this way, the auction will close and it will retake on the next Sunday. And this software will help them on all the sale days. I'm sure you have understood this explanation now. We complete this pre-release material, which is not very old. It was the last year in 2019, and you see it is very easy. Just understanding of the basic techniques is required. Having done that, no pre-release material is difficult and no coding is that of that level that we find it very complicated. It's very easy once you are clear with the concepts. So I will have a short worksheet attached that you will find in the Google Classroom. and I am sure you will solve and submit that within the time. Thank you for now, and we will have a new topic in our next lesson.